Manifest destiny, a term that evokes images of pioneers, vast open spaces, and the relentless push westward. Coined in the 19th century, this powerful idea embodied the belief that the United States was destined by divine providence to expand across the North American continent. But what drove this ambitious vision, and what were its consequences? The concept of manifest destiny was rooted in the belief that America was a special nation with a unique mission to spread democracy and civilization. This sense of exceptionalism was fueled by a combination of religious fervor, national pride, and the promise of economic opportunity. In this video, we'll explore the origins, key events, and lasting impacts of America's westward expansion. We begin with Thomas Jefferson's vision of an empire of liberty, which laid the groundwork for the belief that the American Republic was destined to spread across the continent. From the Louisiana Purchase to the Oregon Trail, from the annexation of Texas to the California Gold Rush, we'll trace the major milestones that propelled the nation westward. Each segment will reveal the motivations behind this expansion, the challenges faced by pioneers, and the profound effects on Native American communities and the nation's future. Join us as we embark on this journey through time, uncovering the story of manifest destiny and its enduring legacy. From the early 1800s to the closing of the frontier, this is the epic tale of America's westward expansion. In the next segment, we'll delve into the origins of manifest destiny, exploring how early American leaders and thinkers envisioned the nation's expansion. Stay with us to learn more about this defining chapter in American history. The roots of manifest destiny are deeply embedded in the early years of the American Republic. This powerful ideology emerged from a blend of nationalistic fervor, religious zeal, and economic ambition, all coalescing into a belief that the United States was preordained to expand its territory and influence. One of the earliest proponents of American expansion was Thomas Jefferson. His vision of an empire of liberty articulated the idea that the United States had a unique role in spreading freedom and democracy. Jefferson's purchase of the Louisiana Territory in 1803 was a bold move that doubled the size of the nation and set the stage for further westward expansion. In the 1840s, the term manifest destiny was popularized by journalist John L. O'Sullivan. In his influential articles, O'Sullivan argued that it was America's manifest destiny to overspread the continent allotted by Providence for the free development of our yearly multiplying millions. This concept resonated deeply with a population eager for growth and opportunity. Religion also played a crucial role in shaping the ideology of manifest destiny. Many Americans believed that their nation's expansion was divinely ordained. Ministers preached that it was God's will for the United States to spread Christianity and civilization across the continent, reinforcing the notion that westward expansion was a moral imperative. Economic factors further fueled the drive westward. The promise of fertile land, natural resources, and new markets enticed settlers and entrepreneurs. As the Industrial Revolution took hold, the expanding nation needed new territories to support its growing population and economy. Politically, manifest destiny was seen as a means to strengthen the nation and secure its borders. Leaders believed that expanding to the Pacific would not only bolster the nation's economy but also provide strategic advantages against European powers with colonial interests in North America. By the early 1800s, these diverse motivations coalesced into a powerful national agenda. The belief in manifest destiny became a driving force behind America's territorial acquisitions and shaped the nation's policies and actions. One of the most significant milestones in America's westward expansion was the Louisiana Purchase of 1803. This monumental deal between the United States and France not only doubled the size of the young nation but also laid the groundwork for future exploration and settlement. President Thomas Jefferson negotiated the purchase with France's leader, Napoleon Bonaparte. For $15 million, the United States acquired approximately 828,000 square miles of land, stretching from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains and from the Gulf of Mexico to the Canadian border. This acquisition was a strategic coup for the United States, providing control over the crucial port of New Orleans and securing access to the Mississippi River, a vital artery for commerce and transportation. It also opened up a vast and largely unknown territory for American exploration. To explore and map this newly acquired land, President Jefferson commissioned an expedition led by Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. Known as the Corps of Discovery, their mission was to find a practical route to the Pacific Ocean and to gather scientific and geographical knowledge about the Western Territories. In May 1804, the expedition set out from St. Louis, Missouri, embarking on a journey that would take them across uncharted wilderness and through the lands of numerous Native American tribes. Over the next 2.5 years, Lewis and Clark traveled thousands of miles, enduring harsh conditions and numerous challenges. Along the way, they documented new plant and animal species, mapped the terrain, and established diplomatic relations with indigenous tribes. Their encounters with Native American leaders, such as the Shoshone woman Sacagawea, who served as their guide and interpreter, were crucial to the success of their mission. Their journey took them across the Great Plains, over the Rocky Mountains, and ultimately to the Pacific Ocean. In November 1805, they reached the mouth of the Columbia River, fulfilling their goal of finding a water route to the Pacific. The detailed journals kept by Lewis and Clark provided valuable information about the geography, flora, fauna, and cultures of the Western Territories. Their expedition laid the foundation for future exploration and settlement, inspiring countless others to venture westward. While Manifest Destiny promised opportunity and expansion for American settlers, it brought devastation and suffering to Native American tribes. One of the most tragic episodes in this history is the Trail of Tears, the forced removal of thousands of Native Americans from their ancestral homelands. The catalyst for this mass displacement was the Indian Removal Act of 1830, signed into law by President Andrew Jackson. This legislation authorized the federal government to negotiate treaties with Native American tribes, ostensibly to exchange their lands in the eastern United States for territory west of the Mississippi River. In reality, these negotiations were often coercive, and many tribes were forced to cede their lands under immense pressure. The most infamous of these forced relocations involved the Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Creek, and Seminole tribes, collectively known as the Five Civilized Tribes. Between 1830 and 1850, tens of thousands of Native Americans were uprooted from their homes and compelled to embark on long, grueling journeys to designated Indian territory, primarily in present-day Oklahoma. The most well-known of these migrations is the Cherokee's Trail of Tears, which began in 1838. The journey was marked by extreme hardship. Ill-prepared and under-resourced, the displaced tribes faced disease, exposure, and starvation. It's estimated that approximately 4,000 of the 16,000 Cherokee who embarked on the journey perished before reaching their new lands. Upon arrival in the new territories, the displaced tribes struggled to rebuild their lives. The trauma of the forced removal and the loss of their ancestral lands left deep scars, profoundly affecting their cultural and social structures. The Trail of Tears is a stark reminder of the human cost of manifest destiny. It exemplifies the broader pattern of displacement and dispossession faced by Native American tribes across the continent as settlers pushed westward. This period of expansion, celebrated by some, was marked by violence and injustice for many others. By the early 19th century, the spirit of manifest destiny had taken root in the hearts of many American settlers, leading to a series of events that would further shape the nation's expansion. One of the most significant and contentious was the struggle for Texas independence and the ensuing Mexican-American War. The story begins in the 1820s, when Mexico, seeking to populate and develop its northern territories, invited American settlers into Texas. Led by impresarios like Stephen F. Austin, thousands of Americans moved to the region, bringing with them their customs, language, and, crucially, their desire for self-governance. As the American population in Texas grew, so did tensions with Mexican authorities. Issues such as the settlers' reluctance to adopt Mexican laws, cultural differences, and Mexico's decision to abolish slavery, which many American settlers opposed, fueled discontent. By 1835, these tensions erupted into open conflict, marking the start of the Texas Revolution. The Texas Revolution saw several pivotal battles, most famously the Siege of the Alamo in 1836, where a small group of Texan defenders held out against a much larger Mexican force. Despite their eventual defeat, the cry of "Remember the Alamo" became a rallying point for Texan forces. Shortly after, at the Battle of San Jacinto, Texan troops led by Sam Houston decisively defeated the Mexican army, securing Texas's independence. Following their victory, the Republic of Texas was established, with Sam Houston as its first president. However, the new republic faced immediate challenges, including financial instability and continued threats from Mexico, which refused to recognize Texan independence. In 1845, the United States annexed Texas, a move that exacerbated tensions with Mexico. The annexation was seen by many Americans as a fulfillment of manifest destiny, but it was viewed by Mexico as an act of aggression and a violation of its sovereignty. The resulting Mexican-American War, which lasted from 1846 to 1848, was marked by significant American victories and territorial gains. Key battles, including the capture of Mexico City by General Winfield Scott, demonstrated the military might of the United States and the vulnerabilities of the Mexican forces. The war concluded with the signing of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848. Under the terms of the treaty, Mexico ceded a vast expanse of territory to the United States, including present-day California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming. This enormous acquisition, known as the Mexican Cession, significantly expanded the nation's borders and furthered the cause of manifest destiny. The Mexican-American War and the annexation of Texas were crucial turning points in the narrative of American expansion. They solidified the United States' presence in the West and fulfilled many Americans' vision of a continental nation. However, these events also had profound and lasting impacts on Mexican-American relations, indigenous. The discovery of gold in California in 1848 sparked one of the most dramatic migrations in American history, known as the California Gold Rush. This event not only transformed California but also had profound effects on the nation's economy, demographics, and westward expansion. It all began in January 1848 when James W. Marshall, a carpenter working for John Sutter, discovered gold flakes in the American River at Sutter's Mill. This discovery was initially kept quiet, but word soon leaked out, and by the end of the year, the news had spread like wildfire. By 1849, the allure of striking it rich had reached across the United States and beyond, attracting a diverse array of fortune seekers, later known as 49ers. Men and women from various backgrounds, farmers, merchants, soldiers, and even entire families, abandoned their homes and headed for California. The journey to California was arduous and perilous. Many traveled overland across the continent, enduring harsh conditions and the dangers of the frontier. Others took sea routes, either around the treacherous Cape Horn or through the disease-ridden jungles of the Panama Isthmus. Regardless of the path, the promise of gold drove thousands to brave these challenges. San Francisco quickly became the epicenter of the gold rush. What was once a small settlement rapidly transformed into a booming city, as tens of thousands of prospectors poured in. The city's population exploded from just a few hundred in 1848 to over 25,000 by 1850. The mining camps of California were a mix of opportunity and hardship. Prospectors worked long hours panning for gold in rivers and digging in the earth, often with limited success. The camps were rough, lawless places, where disputes over claims could lead to violence, and disease and poor living conditions were rampant. The gold rush also brought a significant influx of immigrants from around the world. Chinese laborers, Mexican miners, and European fortune seekers added to the melting pot, contributing to the cultural diversity of the region. However, this influx also led to tensions and conflicts, particularly over mining rights and racial discrimination. Beyond the individual fortunes won and lost, the gold rush had lasting economic impacts. It spurred infrastructure development, including the construction of railroads and telegraph lines, and laid the groundwork for California's eventual statehood in 1850. The influx of wealth and population also led to the rise of banks, businesses, and entire industries supporting the mining economy. Among the many trails that crisscrossed the American West, none was more iconic or enduring than the Oregon Trail. Spanning over 2,000 miles from Missouri to the fertile valleys of Oregon, this trail became a symbol of the pioneer spirit and the relentless drive for westward expansion. The Oregon Trail began in Independence, Missouri, and wound its way through what are now the states of Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, Idaho, and Oregon. Pioneers traversed prairies, crossed mountain ranges, and forded rivers, all in pursuit of new opportunities and a better life. The journey on the Oregon Trail typically began in the spring, as thousands of families and individuals gathered their possessions, packed their covered wagons, and formed wagon trains for mutual support and protection. These pioneers faced a daunting journey that could take up to 6 months, with challenges at every turn. Life on the trail was arduous. Pioneers walked alongside their wagons for much of the journey, enduring long days of travel and harsh weather conditions. They faced numerous hardships, including disease, limited food supplies, and the ever-present danger of accidents. Despite these difficulties, the camaraderie and mutual support within the wagon trains fostered a sense of community and shared purpose. Along the way, pioneers passed several key landmarks that served as guideposts and morale boosters. Notable sites like Chimney Rock in Nebraska, Fort Laramie in Wyoming, and Independence Rock, also in Wyoming, marked progress and provided much-needed rest and resupply points. The journey also brought pioneers into contact with various Native American tribes. While there were instances of conflict, many interactions were peaceful and involved trade, guidance, and assistance. Native American knowledge of the land proved invaluable to the pioneers navigating the treacherous terrain. One of the most daunting challenges was crossing the Rocky Mountains. The high mountain passes, such as South Pass in Wyoming, were critical to the journey but presented significant obstacles, especially as winter approached. Successful navigation of these passes often determined the fate of entire wagon trains. Those who made it through the trials of the Oregon Trail were rewarded with the fertile lands of the Willamette Valley in Oregon. Here, they established farms, built communities, and laid the foundation for future settlement and development in the region. The Oregon Trail was more than just a route. It was a testament to the pioneer spirit that defined a generation. It symbolized the hopes and dreams of countless Americans who ventured into the unknown in search of a better life. The legacy of the trail endures in the stories of bravery, perseverance, and the relentless pursuit of opportunity that continue to inspire us today. In the midst of the Civil War, a significant piece of legislation was passed that would forever change the American landscape and fuel the westward expansion, the Homestead Act of 1862. Signed into law by President Abraham Lincoln, this act provided a means for ordinary Americans to acquire land and build new lives on the Great Plains. The Homestead Act offered 160 acres of public land to any adult citizen or intended citizen who could pay a small registration fee and commit to improving the land by building a dwelling and cultivating crops for 5 years. This opportunity attracted a diverse group of settlers, including farmers, laborers, immigrants, and freed slaves. Thousands of eager settlers, known as homesteaders, traveled to the Great Plains, driven by the promise of free land and the hope of a better future. Upon arrival, they faced the daunting task of turning the vast, untamed prairies into productive farms and communities. Life on the plains was challenging and required immense determination and hard work. With few trees available, many homesteaders built sod houses, known as soddies, from the dense prairie grass roots. They toiled to break the tough soil with plows, often battling harsh weather conditions and limited resources. The homesteaders faced numerous trials, including droughts, pests like grasshoppers, and extreme weather. Despite these adversities, they found strength in community. Neighbors helped one another with barn raisings, harvesting, and sharing scarce resources. This spirit of cooperation was vital to their survival and success. Women played a crucial role in the success of homesteading. They worked tirelessly alongside men in the fields, tended to livestock, managed households, and raised children. Their contributions were essential to the stability and prosperity of homestead life. The impact of the Homestead Act was profound. It led to the rapid expansion of settlements across the Great Plains, transforming the landscape into a patchwork of farms and small towns. By the turn of the century, millions of acres had been claimed and settled, contributing significantly to the agricultural output of the United States. The legacy of the Homestead Act is still visible today in the agricultural heartland of America. The courage and perseverance of the homesteaders laid the foundation for a thriving farming economy and the development of rural communities that continue to play a vital role in the nation's food production. As we conclude our exploration of manifest destiny and America's westward expansion, we reflect on the enduring spirit of those who ventured into the unknown. From the early pioneers on the Oregon Trail to the homesteaders of the Great Plains, their stories of resilience and determination continue to inspire. The quest for new opportunities and the relentless pursuit of dreams are hallmarks of the American experience, shaping the nation's history and its future. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of the most transformative periods in American history. We invite you to delve deeper into the stories of these pioneers and the legacy of manifest destiny. Subscribe to our channel for more historical explorations and share your thoughts and questions in the comments below.